Okay, Coach Gibson. So I talked to Coach Schaefer.
Yep.
They're starting from scratch.
Sure.
Right? You
Sure.
came in, took over at VMI.
Yes.
Talked to Coach LeBlanc.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All you guys are like, there's a bunch of new coaches in the conference.
It is.
Right?
For sure. It makes
John
it
Mark.
stronger though, right?
Yeah, but John Mark's been here forever, right? So you got some veterans, and then Scotty's been around, and he kind of like slid in to where Kerry was. But what is it like going from coming into a new thing and building it?
It's challenging, right? You know, for us, I think our biggest thing right now is just continuing to build quality depth to where we're competitive in the room, and that helps build our guys, right? Develop our guys, and I think that's the one thing right now that we're trying to continue to work on, that we have guys pushing each other in the room, so that those guys, our starters, are getting better. You know, and then that helps with the injury factor as well. We battled that a little bit this year. So I think anytime that we can get some quality depth and continue to build that in our practice room, that we're going to continue to take some steps forward.
VMI and Citadel, you know, they're in with kind of like the service academies, right? It's a military theme, and it is run like that.
Correct.
It is not. We get to live off campus.
None.
Wearing uniforms.
Yes.
You don't get to miss stuff.
Yes.
It's high intensity.
It is.
It's not for every kid.
Correct.
What is that like recruiting that kid?
You know, I think when it comes down to it, they're going to be willing to live kind of a non-traditional lifestyle for 4 or 5 years, depending on their red shirt, right? And, you know, but they have to understand what the value of the education is that they're getting when they leave VMI. You know, the job placement rate, the starting salary, all that stuff are great things that we use, you know, to help recruit kids, to make them understand that, hey, if you come and sacrifice for 4 or 5 years and kind of go the non-traditional route or walk the road less traveled, that you're going to be rewarded for it down the road after you graduate.
I mean, that's really hard to go in and be like, hey, you gotta, you know, we're gonna regiment you 24/7,
Sure.
and this is tough, right? And you're gonna wrestle in Division I athletics on top of it. That's not easy for some kids.
Yes.
How are you able to sell that beyond the education, beyond the dedication? How are you able to? Is there anything you can do to bring in different kids?
Absolutely. You know, it's VMI is one of those things where you're pulled in a lot of different directions, right? You are not just a student athlete at VMI, right? You're a cadet athlete, and what I mean by that is you get a lot of hands-on training that you would get at VMI compared to a more traditional school. You know, there's leadership that they have to do. There's honor and integrity that goes with it. We have something called the honor code that every cadet has to abide by. So they're getting a lot of other non-traditional, I use that term a lot, but non-traditional type education that they wouldn't get, you know, at a more common or a traditional type school.
Your 197 is dangerous, right? Pinned my nephew with a splito today, right? I'm like, oh my, this guy, he's crazy.
Yeah.
He's got like a lot of crazy stuff. And in that semifinal, it was a junkyard dog fight, right? So that guy's dangerous. How do you get guys like that to progress along and bring in more guys like that?
Sure. I think one thing for Tyler is that he needs to continue to add to his repertoire, right? Being dangerous is a good thing and very valuable, but when it comes down to it, when he needs a go-to score, he's got to have something a little bit more common or traditional type attack that he can use to get to the leg or score some points when he needs to score it. Because when you, I mean, you know as well as I do, when you're in some of those positions, some of that dangerous type wrestling isn't always available. You've got to have some sort of go-to or number one attack that he can use when it's on the line that he needs to score a point or a takedown. He's know exactly where he's going to get the takedown that he needs.
Got to have a go-to takedown.
Absolutely.
And when you, I mean, it's good when a guy puts his knee to his head.
Sure.
Right? That's all good, right?
Yeah.
But
And
it's not always there.
He does a good job at forcing some of that too. I think that's something that, you know, I talk to him a lot about because he's good there, and you want your guys to wrestle in the positions that they're really strong at. So we do work some of that. It's not just, you know, kind of go out and flail around and hope you end up there. Some of it is, hey, we work to put himself in some of those positions that he's really good at.
I mean, you had Neil, right? You coached Neil.
Yep.
Neil was the SoCon Wrestler of the Year.
He was.
He was really good.
Really good.
Won matches at the NCAA.
Yep.
How do you get back there? How do you get a guy like that?
Yep.
Guys.
Sure.
Right?
Comes down to recruiting. They need to buy into, you know, what VMI sells and what the overall aspect of VMI is. And then it goes back to, you know, the depth thing. We need guys that are going to challenge each other in the room, and I want to bring guys in that, you know, want to live the lifestyle 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of being a cadet athlete at VMI.
I love it. Listen, I came there. Matt Irwin actually took me in there,
Nice.
and I was like, it was sweet. I did a visit. It was a good time. It was awesome. You got a cool wrestling room.
It is.
Do you got anything else for me?
No, I appreciate it, though. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for the time. Good luck to you guys moving forward.
Thanks. Take care.